It's a long, long wait.
Jeff is jamming.
I love this song.
Yeah, Jeff remembers when he heard this song the first time in the 1920s.
I mean, Jab Thursday for
Turn
Clyde.
that mic off over there.
Jab Thursday. I mean, you're ripping a guy who wasn't even on the show. You're ripping Andrew Lopez for.
Love Andrew though. He knows it's all in good fun. But I can already imagine him. I can see him sitting at that scores table. Like I'm pretty sure his Facebook profile or Twitter profile picture still is that Argyle sweater, some blue shirt. Between him and Jarrett, the Argyle boys, the Argyle assassins, I'll call them. Pay me for that too if you use it. But I can see him in that Argyle. Argyle sitting there watching girls basketball.
No one's paying you for that.
I don't see why not. I mean, you pay me for little else, so hey.
Thought we were going to talk Louisville.
We are.
See? Always reverse it back. Peter Schrager from NFL Network, the only guest in Dunc Holder history to completely stiff us. Just had to throw that out there. Even though I'm friends with the guy, I mean, he totally stiffed us. But Peter Schrager, NFL Network, has his mock draft, and he typically does a really great job with it. Talks to people, scouting and around the league to kind of form his opinion. And he has slated to the New Orleans Saints, Lamar Jackson, quarterback, Louisville, and me even giving it any sort of credence on Twitter this morning caused my timeline to explode. People were none too happy, and all I said was, if he is the best player available, you take him. I wasn't endorsing that he was the best player available. I just said, if he's the best player available, you take it. And people
didn't like that.
Blinded. No chance. And what's probably even worse is that in Schrager's mock draft, at 29, he has the Jaguars taking Dallas Goedert, the tight end from South Dakota State. And Darius Geis is at 30, but we already said the Saints aren't taking Darius Geis. But the fact that he passed on the tight end to go with Lamar Jackson, people have essentially lost their minds. Well, at least the people who tweeted me have their brains have exploded.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lamar Jackson's the ideal fit for Sean Payton's offensive system, but I do think he's going to be a very successful NFL player. I mean, he's a dynamic playmaker one way or the other, whether he's quarterback with the ball in his hands. This is what Mike Mayock said about him leading up to the NFL scouting combine. He said, Lamar Jackson is the most electrifying talent in this draft. Every week there's going to be one person in this country more petrified than anyone else, the defensive coordinator of whatever team he plays. And I tend to agree with that. I watched him a lot, obviously, at Louisville. He developed as a quarterback, but I've never seen a player run with the ball the way he does. And so get him the ball in his hands, whatever way you have to do it, but he's going to be a big-time player in the NFL just as a playmaker, just because of his athletic ability and his running ability.
I think, though, maybe it's the player that Saints fans, at least a few people, I'm sure others who aren't on Twitter, I'm sure they're saying, no way, we have bigger needs, this, that, the other. They better get on board with the best player available philosophy. They better get on board fast, because that's the only philosophy they should have going into this draft.
Yes.
There's not a ton of holes. There are holes, but they will be even more centralized as far as what they feel like they absolutely need once you get through free agency. So the fact, and here's the other thing, the fact that you're telling me, well, no, there's going to be so many other players that are better than either Lamar Jackson. I even threw Mason Rudolph in there because maybe he might be a second-round quarterback. There'll be so many players on the board who are better than those guys. It's March 1st. You have no idea. You have no clue. You won't even know until the draft. You'll know at pick 26 who's out there. So I don't want to hear that argument either. Give me a break.
This is the time of year where every rando is a draft expert.
This is true.
It's really ridiculous.
You and me.
These draft nicks out there
you two
that
specifically
study the every mock draft and have an opinion and are so convinced of their opinion because they've seen some kind of draft Bible somewhere and they've determined that this player is the one. Look, nobody really knows. Even the Saints don't know. I mean, Sean Payton admitted as much last year about Alvin Kamara. Yeah, they liked him, but if they thought he was going to be what he turned out to be, they would have drafted him higher. So just chill on your proclamations of who's good and who's not.
2 minutes.
Unfortunately, Jeff, Loverboy Love here on the YouTube stream says, if he is the best, trade back, please. Sorry, Jeff Duncan.
I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. I mean, I'm not endorsing them drafting Lamar Jackson.
I'm not either. I think that's what people are mistaking.
No one's endorsing. That's why I'm glad we have this, because literally the title of this post, this is going to be one of the posts today. It's going to be RELAX. Relax. This is not that serious. It's March 1st.
Peter Schrager has been successful in this mock draft because he's got us talking about it.
It's true. But I mean, Lamar Jackson's name. But I mean, we were talking about this before the show even started. We were talking about Lamar Jackson and all the hubbub last week about could he play quarterback at the NFL level, how challenging was Louisville's offense, and then all the socio kind of things that kind of swirl around with quarterbacks, not necessarily like Deshaun Watson, like you were talking about, because Deshaun Watson was going to be a top pick, Larry, regardless, because everybody saw what he did at Clemson against Alabama twice.
Well, I told you how much before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just get one thing clear here. I mean, they played a pro-style offense. Yeah. Runs an NFL offense.
Absolutely, and there was a lot of talk about, like, the descriptions of plays that they run at Louisville and how crazy it is that he can absolutely do it. So it's just all those things that swirl around fringe quarterback players like Lamar Jackson, unfortunately.
Well, great show to...
Fringe? What does that mean?
Fringe.
I mean, I think he could probably... I mean, someone could just take a flyer on him.
Look, if Danny Etling's the best player on the board at 27, you take Danny Etling. That's
Stop
just what
that.
it is.
You know they don't. You know Saints players do not take LSU players. Stop it.
Miles Brennan's coming out early. If he's the best player on the board, they're going to go get him.
Time to close the show.
Great show today. I want to thank Todd Grappanini, Todd Masson, and Jim Derry. Sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube page, and Clyde's breakdowns on NOLA.com. So come on back. Tomorrow, Eric Asher is coming up next, so don't go anywhere here. Sports1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Dunc Holder.